ever felt like you were meant for more, but some invisible wall is holding you back from fully stepping into your purpose? Well, in this episode, we dive into that wall, what it's made of, where it comes from, and more importantly, how to dissolve it. Our guest, Dr. Victoria Rader, the possibility coach, a best-selling author, quantum guide, and yes, even moon message launcher, you'll learn about that in the interview, joins us to break down exactly how to break through that wall. From her philosophy of quantum freedom to her radically practical take on law of attraction, Victoria shows us that true manifestation isn't about wishing harder, it's about shifting deeper. By the end of this conversation, you're going to discover how to move from fear to freedom using a deceptively simple 3-question formula that opens the door to real possibility. Why neutrality, not positivity, is the secret frequency to successful manifestation, and what the law of attraction doesn't tell you, and how understanding the full law of magnetism can finally set your abundance journey on fire. So whether you're stuck in self-doubt, playing it safe in your comfort zone, or just waiting for a sign, this is the episode for you. Let's get started. Karen.
Yes.
I finally figured out the secret to life.
Thank God.
I know, it's about time, right? Well, it turns out it's not enlightenment. It's not six-pack abs, although... no, it's not that. It's not even the perfect latte foam.
All right. I'm quite disappointed now. 'Cause
Are
I
you-
thought I could do the foam and then all would be good.
Oh, I thought you were disappointed about my six-pack abs. No, the secret to life might actually have something to do with quantum freedom, energy healing, prosperity consciousness, mindset mastery, and sending your teachings to the actual moon.
That's a lot of answers. You said that was the answer. Those are like the answers.
Well, you call me out all the time. I don't
I
like
know.
it. So anyway, our next guest seems she's figured out the secret to life because she's done all of that I just said.
Oh.
Even sent her teachings to the moon.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. I knew you hadn't listened to me. She doesn't listen to me. See, she is what happens when the mystical meets the practical, then does a mic drop. She's a best-selling author and a transformational speaker. She's been featured on Forbes, on CNN, on Fox, on ABC, and she's a Broadway producer to boot.
Wow. That's so cool.
Her mission is helping you break free from junky beliefs clogging up your manifesting mojo and finally tap into the quantum field to create real abundance. She blends spirituality with science like some kind of metaphysical smoothie and somehow makes topics like mindset mastery and energy alignment actually make sense. So if you've ever looked at your life and thought, this can't be all there is, right? Well, get ready, because Victoria Rader is about to flip the switch on your limiting beliefs and show you how to actually manifest fulfillment. Welcome to the show, Victoria. How are you doing today?
I am so superbly delighted that I found somebody who'll do my eulogy. Thank you.
Karen doesn't do that for free, though. So
It is wonderful
my
to be with you
goodness.
guys.
Oh, likewise.
likewise. Before we started recording, you asked the age-old question, what do you want to talk about? Well, it was a hard one to pin one down for you, but you have been called the possibility coach, right? What does that mean to you? And how does someone actually start living in possibility rather than limitation? That's what I want to talk about.
The story behind that is actually rather vulnerable, and as most of the things that are beautiful, unexpected. I 2021-ish, 2022, somewhere there, I have my schedule completely booked. It's like a month-long packed, overdoing, overachieving, overproving to who nobody knows, but I am on a mission, okay? And I have a very subtle feeling. I've learned to listen to it because having lost a lot of people, money, opportunities by ignoring it, it's one voice that I never ignore, and the subtle feeling says, cancel everything. I'm like, what? What? I mean, what? But I do. I cancel everything for the months of March, and I'm thinking this is great. It means I will probably be writing my book, one of the books. And instead, the ad pops up, and it is Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield, and they're doing this PR thing, PR program. And I'm like, what is PR? I swear. I've built a $1 million+ business completely by referral out of my, what is PR? Literally. So I sign up, and they say, well, what was your title? And I'm like, What do you mean? Well, I have a doctorate. No, what is your title? I'm like, I don't have a title. What do you do? I help people. They're like, that doesn't work. I'm like, well, it worked for me. So they literally say, well, we can't market you if you don't have like a title, like something behind your name. So I went to Facebook and I posted in and I said, hey guys, when you refer me out to other people, what do you tell people that I do? And over 2 days, over 300 answers, lots of sobbing on my part. What was coming in was, I didn't think it was possible to get pregnant. Now I have 3 kids. I didn't think it was possible to get out of debt. Now my business is thriving. And the word possible was coming in every third word. And that's how Possibility Coach was born and branded. I got it trademarked, copyrighted, only to realize that my degree in metaphysics and quantum science is studying the infinite possibility. Turns out there is a branch of philosophy that studies the infinite possibility. I actually have a piece of paper in it. So that's the story of, of Possibility Coach.
Wow. Okay, so I should have
Wow.
said you are the Possibility Coach trademark registered.
There you go. R, triple R.
Sorry, from here on out, when I call you the Possibility Coach trademark registered, I will say it accordingly. Okay, so then how does someone get out of limitation and live their life in pure potentiality?
Well, the answer and the secret to life is the answer in the question you're asking. It is by being alive. The secret to life is be alive.
Okay,
We
so I've
forgot.
I've 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 successfully managed to do that. So I guess I've got the secret to life. No.
You very much have, well, living, being alive. And so, what I mean by that is that there are only two ways of being at any given point. There is being of lack and being of presence. There's no third way. Well, there is a way in between, the bridge between, which is neutrality. And so it's really fascinating to me that we're having this conversation we're having now. One of them, I don't know why it's coming through, but I never hold back. One of the probably most popular videos I did was over 8 years ago. And I did an activation of 4 centers for happiness in a human brain. I read this really cool book, the Book of Joy, and it was Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu.
I
And
read
they
that
said
book.
there, have you? Okay,
Yes.
so there you have it. And they said there are 4 centers in your brain responsible for well-being and happiness. Who said serendipity? Who said serendipity?
For
That is why
those
it's coming through.
those who are just listening to the episode, I just pulled the Book of Joy out of our bookcase and pointed it out. So yes, we did indeed read the book.
That is why it's coming through then. And there's this, but then you'll know there's this one little line, like one segment that says there are 4 centers in your brain responsible for well-being and happiness. And that is the center of releasing negative emotion, the center for processing positive emotion, the center for being, and the center for generosity. And I was listening in an audiobook, I pulled over and I was like, okay, let me scan my brain energetically. I work with energy. What are those centers? As I started working and understanding and decoding through 5 years, understanding what those are and not finding any research prior done to that, you then look at the subatomic structure of all that we are. Like every atom that you and I and table and everything is created with on this planet has a proton, which is positive, an electron, which is negative, a neutron, which is neutral, and so, as such, is being still and just being present. And finally, a quantum flow particle for generosity. Putting together the energy flow and the activating capacity to be joyful and happy was such such a phenomenal revolutionary thing for me. And what I've discovered is that we have forgot how to be neutral. Like neutrality as a skill has died out. People have emotional charge of whether I love this or I hate this without giving themselves a luxury of just being. And so the very first step, to answer your question, long-winded answer, to start identifying how to live a life of potential is to become neutral. Can you really become neutral? You can't park a car without going through neutral. You just have to go through neutral. And so that's the first step.
I love that answer. Get it? Get it?
Oh.
Love. Anyway, no, so I should say I'm neutral about that answer. No, so interesting that you say that because every lesson that we have read, every spiritual teacher that talks about manifestation and law of attraction and all that kind of stuff talks about the need to feel the emotions behind what you're trying to bring forth. But if you're neutral, how is that? How are you bringing the emotions forward to bring that manifestation event forward?
You are no longer working, you're actually surrendering to the flow. So when you and I, well, there are three trains right now, okay? Imagine there are three trains. And so you and I are sitting on opposite trains and we're looking at each other through the window. And if your train is moving, I am perceiving that I am moving or you are moving. I'm not sure. There is a movement. If your train is sitting still and mine is moving, you perceive movement. But when both of us move at the same pace, we're actually perceiving stillness and neutrality. So
Mm-hmm.
neutrality is not the absence of movement. It is moving at the speed of what? At the speed of life unfolding. It is a surrender to the life flow where you don't charge it with your opinion. And then you actually are experiencing a bliss of being present to it. It's a very high frequency. You
Mm-hmm.
probably don't start there, but it's really cool. It's really cool to observe that.
Good.
So I don't know if this is kind of like off to the side, but you're talking about, or you started talking about possibility coach and
Registered
potential.
trademark.
Yes, potential. But
Or
I would think, that so you wake up, you're having a bad day, yeah, there's the potential that a lot of great things could happen. But how do you get from like to actually making that potential happen instead of just it being out there and potentially anything could happen, but I could still have a bad life? What can I do to get that potential to make it real or kinetic?
yeah, well, it's all about kinetic, and that's why we came here in the first place. I would think so, to be alive. Let's
Yeah.
review our points. We came to be alive. So, but truly, I think I was just half joking before we started recording about the question you ask is what forms your reality. And so when you are waking up in the ick, which I do daily, because being Ukrainian, there is a phone call about somebody dead every 3 days.
Oh, jeez.
So I can relate to the real deep ick.
Yeah.
And the real, it's really beautiful for me to have done what I've done because I'm using it for me first and foremost. So it's real life, right? It's not a bubble. We're living a real life. And so when I wake up in the morning and I look at my schedule and I have zero desire, capacity, motivation, or energy to get out of bed, what do I do? Right? What do I do to get myself out into that whole thing of how do I do something? And it is asking a question. It is asking the questions. And so, generally speaking, the question is who needs to hear my voice? That by me not meeting their need, I am infringing on their joy, on their life, and on their potentiality. See, we're all one. I don't believe I'm born to do me and me alone. I happen to know that every single thing we do impacts everything and everyone, either positively or negatively. And so that subtle reminder of getting out of my own way, of just getting out of my way and saying, okay, you don't feel like doing A, B, C, and D, but there is somebody in this world right now who is feeling a little bit more off than you do. So, in a very practical and vulnerable way, you ask yourself a question: am I willing to pay the price of not impacting someone's life since I don't know how bad it can be? And I'm not. I'm really not willing for that responsibility. And so, but for anybody who's looking for to change their life, and I want to talk about practicality. The first, we're going to talk about the beliefs change. The first belief is things, people don't receive things, don't claim things because they don't believe it's possible for them. They believe it's possible, or I believe it's possible for her. I believe it's possible for them. And so the first thing to do is not an affirmation, it's possible for me. Because when you affirm and internally you can't confirm, then that internal voice inside goes, yeah, you're a lunatic. There goes the mirror, and you in front of the mirror once again. Good luck, baby. I'm a money magnet. The bank is like, really? Wow. Okay,
She
that's
gets
delusion.
me.
She really gets you.
Me.
Okay, so then how do you reframe it? You ask the most powerful question there is. What if it were possible for me? This simple question is much more powerful than any affirmation because it's not forceful. It takes responsibility, hence guilt away. You're not the one manifesting or feeling it. You're opening a possibility. What if it were possible for me? And then the very next question, if it were possible for me, how would I make it probable? And the most important, the rubber meets the road question. And what is the one simple action I can take, decision I can make, or question I can ask to make it a little bit more probable for me, if it were possible? The burden's lifted.
So if you have a microphone, just pick it up and drop it, because that was fantastic. It takes, because you can say, fake it till you make it, or you can give yourself all these affirmations, but if you don't believe them, but yeah, this takes the burden of belief off of you and kind of change it into wonder. I like that.
So then one of the tenets about manifestation and law of attraction, that kind of thing, is you have to believe it, right? A lot of, we can say it till the cows come home. But if something inside you, and a lot of times, a lot of those beliefs that you have inside you that are limiting you aren't conscious. They're subconscious. You're not even aware of them. So reframing it in that way, you are saying that will remove that responsibility of you having to believe it yourself to make it happen?
So that's the first step. Yeah, that's the step that opens the door. Then living that question, decision, or action to take is very important. Asking that and implementation is very important. But let's talk about the law of attraction. I love working with universal laws because everything is either with or against the law. I just came home from a premiere from Zero Limits movie, where I'm in the movie with Joe Vitale, and we talk of zero limits. And it's going to be a phenomenal flick. It already won 17 awards. I'm really thrilled about it.
Congrats.
It was not planned,
Congratulations.
was not on my vision board. It just was like one of those things that rolled into my life, and I said yes, So, but why am I mentioning it? I love the approach of that movie because it actually taps a little bit into the law. So back to the law of attraction, it's going to help so many people. Okay, buckle in. If you're driving, people, just drive over and park. Just park, like park right now. Park.
Park and
okay?
listen.
Park and
Park.
listen. Yes.
Park and listen, because this is like, wow. Okay.
Okay.
The law of attraction is under the law of magnetism. We get that. Attraction comes through magnetism. Well, what happens to a magnet? The magnet has two poles. One side of the magnet attracts, the other side of the magnet repels and rejects. The reason the law of attraction does not work for so many people is because they just, using the law of resonance, tune into something to be able to resonate with it and receive. And things go completely awry. People betray them, they lose things, they lose money. Why? Because they're repelling and rejecting any limitation that prevents them from attraction. And it is in that moment that they panic and they say attraction doesn't work. Or their childhood wounds of being rejected come to the wound. And every program about I'm undeserving, I'm unworthy, I'm being rejected because I don't deserve the manifestation, the wave of those beliefs comes up. And instead of celebrating being kicked in the ass big time and saying, wow, I am attracting, people give up. They quit. They walk away and they'll go back to their own limitation. So that is a freedom door for somebody else to hear it. Do you know how you know you're attracting? Things are going astray and things are being repelled and rejected. Celebrate that. The day you can celebrate being rejected with the same passion that you celebrate being accepted is the day you released the slavery of approval and you stepped into true manifestation through the law of magnetism and attraction.
Let me get this straight.
That look. I know that look well.
You're saying that I need to celebrate the ass kicking
Yes.
because it's pointing to the fact that I'm getting rejected? How does that make you get closer to actually attracting what you want?
Because if I have this and this right here, this is my precious and this is my even more precious, holding a cup in the left hand and a phone in the right hand for those that are listening. This is my precious. And you know what? I really want to hold, but I can't. Here, this little thing here. I want to attract something into my life. Unless I'm surrendered to such an amazing point that I say, abusive partner, goodbye. Poor job, goodbye. I'm so aligned. I'm open to receive. Hello, new opportunity. Yes, I was broke. Unless you're aligned to say such a pure no that you are rejecting and repelling, most of us have not been trained in that boundary. And so somebody else comes and tears the phone out of our hand and we're like, it was my precious. But that hand is now open. And if we don't clench it in resentment, revenge, or regret, the 3 R's, that's I was joking about possibility RRR, resentment, revenge, and regret. If I don't clench my fist back, at the point of a perceived loss or letting go, there's a perceived opportunity to receive. That is not talked about. But listen to all of the gurus of the law of attraction. I adore Jack Canfield. Did a book with Jack Canfield. He's a real thing. Okay? Homeless. No money. Broken marriage. He's paid the price of rejection. Let's talk about Joe Vitale. Horrible divorce. Homeless. Hungry. He paid the price of attraction. We only get that part of the story, but the law is the law is the law, and the law of magnetism must happen in its completeness and fullness.
I got to take a minute because you're scaring me.
That's
little
all
bit.
right. That's all right.
No,
I
no.
love this.
No, you're scaring me because you just pointed out 2 gentlemen, Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Joe Vitale, who's a manifestation expert in at large. Both had to be homeless to get where they were needing to go. I really want to go somewhere, but prefer not to be homeless. So you're saying there's no way that I can get what I want without being homeless? So you're scaring me because you're taking this to such lengths that, like, how much does someone have to hit rock bottom before they can come up?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm simply using it as an example. Is when you lack skill to be letting go, the electron, the negative release, if you lack skill to be letting go of what no longer serves you daily, just like you're brushing teeth, because you are focusing on something positive, life will help you by ripping it away from you. So no, you absolutely do not have to hit a rock bottom. But
Okay.
if you do, the reaction to that should be, okay, that was the most effective and efficient way for me to bounce back up into what I'm creating and celebrating.
And I think we've seen that a little bit recently. We've had, well, we meaning him, has had a bunch of crazy stuff with work going on.
You see what I deal with on a daily basis here?
But at one point it was kind of like, well, everybody, a big group of people need to quit your job and we'll give you this little, bonus if you quit, because we're downsizing and some people we're going to have some people stay, but and so we're like, all right, I guess we got to quit. And we quit and we were kind of excited. And then you actually ended up getting to keep your job.
Right.
So, you got, for whatever reason, we're still here. What are you looking at me like that for?
Because it didn't turn out well. I mean, it did,
Well,
but
we
it
don't
didn't.
know. We don't really know, do we?
It hasn't turned out yet. It
Well,
hasn't turned out yet. It's
so
turning out.
So I've got to tread carefully because my boss actually listens to the show. Hi, Stephanie.
Oh.
But so anyway,
Stephanie, you'll be at a loss, baby girl.
It actually wasn't her fault. She's a lovely, lovely person. It has nothing to do with her. But I'm about to reveal some of my secrets, right? So,
Ooh. Do I know them?
most of them, and no, yes, of course.
Some other
you
job you had.
do. So, I'm not very fulfilled in my day job currently, and we have been in the process of trying to bring forth something bigger and better and all that kinds of stuff. And yet, there has been a fear that has been holding us back from actually, and we've had many people come on this show and say, just quit the damn job. And yet there's that fear that has always stopped us from doing just that, because quitting means no salary. It means no benefits. It means no vacation pay. It means no security or stability.
And I think, honestly, I think the biggest part is because we have a daughter.
Sure.
And if we didn't have her, I think we'd be much more like, whatever.
Right.
But-
Right. So here you come, yet another person saying you need to be able to release before it comes. And then I start thinking about New Reality and Skeptic Metaphysicians and how they're just kind of just slogging along, but not really going anywhere I mean, they are, but it's almost like the world, the universe is on hold until something happens. Kind of like our lives right now. We're on hold, waiting for something to happen. So is there a what's the term I'm looking for?
Partial surrender.
Is there a happy medium? Is there something that we can still get what we want to get without losing the complete security of a
Insurance.
job? Yes.
Absolutely. See, you were scared, and I'll give you the best answer ever. The job really is highly irrelevant, whether you keep it or whether you have it. As long as you feel it's your limitation, it's your limitation. So by losing the job, you would be losing the limitation. But if today you say, what if it were possible that the job is not a limitation that is holding me back from my big vision, but is a necessary foundation? And what if you went to your unfulfilling job with immense level of gratitude that it is the foundation that is supporting you as you're launching forward? And that is that choice between lack of presence. Because when you understand that you're present to an opportunity, regardless what it is, what if you went to your job as the greatest opportunity in disguise? It will have no choice but to become that and lead you to the true or more aligned opportunity, at which point it will simply fall off. And so what we need to go off is a limitation, or what we believe is a limitation, or our belief or believing that it is a limitation. I was in real estate. When I came to the US, I decided I was going to be a homeschooling mom. I took my two kids, young kids, 7 and 3, insanity. Well, no, 8 and 4. And we went to Greece for 3 weeks to study Greek history at their level. And my mom came home from Ukraine. My husband sat me down. He said, sweetheart, that is a great thing to have done. I know in Ukraine they don't have credit. In US we do, and we're now in debt. So I literally went online and I put in, what is the fastest way to make money in the US while being a stay-at-home homeschooling mom? And the answer is 2007. The peak of real estate comes in as real estate. So I entered the force of real estate just by 2008 when the crash happens.
Ooh.
And everybody's getting out. I don't know any better, right? I'm like, I'm here to thrive. And so to make a very long story short, I'm actually an extreme introvert. I'm wired as an extreme introvert. For me to be approaching people at that point and asking them whether they need to buy or sell a home is a daily torture. But I literally cry myself to sleep quite a few nights, but the daily torture pays for my homeschooling and seeing the world with the kids. And I literally remember sitting there, Will, and saying, okay, what if I shifted that? What if it were possible for me to really love this because I'm going to do it, by golly, because I want my kids to see the world. So I'm going to do it. But I'm doing it while hating it. And probably that was the most powerful transition in my life, where I woke up in the morning with a commitment that I was going to love every single hateful up till that moment part of the job. I loved helping people. I still do that. That was a genuine thing. And so within 6 months, I was the top one agent in Virginia and top 1% in US and Canada. In 3 years, I paid off the mortgage for my home, for my mom's home. I brought my parents from Ukraine. And in 2013, when the still small voice said, and now you're ready to go, I walked away with 28 million pending, turning it over to my broker in closing sales. It was just that clear of a exit. So no, your great vision does not have to wait for you. It clearly put me into this conversation to say that even at this moment, the choice is completely yours. The job does not have to be a limitation. Your brain will say, well, but you don't have time to put, no, that's an excuse. I wrote my first book in 3 minutes a day, literally. And so if you sit down, 3 minutes is a powerful number. If you sit down and you say every day, I'm going to dedicate undivided 3-minute power vision for this incredible vision to come through me. There'll be days that 3 minutes will become 3 hours. Sometimes it'll be 3 minutes of dedication where you're sitting and nothing happens, but you're honoring the 3-minute commitment. I'm actually giving the practical things that have led to everything that I've ever done. So there you go. You can just let go of the belief that the job is a limitation for you to launch.
Here's the most important question of all. Can you come with me to work?
If you can afford me, it is totally a yes.
Because now I'm thinking about back in the day when I loved my job and things were clicking in all cylinders and it led to all kinds of other opportunities, right? So now I don't, and it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't hate partially or you can't love partially, and you cannot manifest through resentment back to those 3 R's or regret or I should have quit early. And no, you shouldn't have. If you should have, you would have. You didn't, so that's great. You know?
Right.
So
So is there a perfect time to make a move, or are you supposed to go with the flow
yes,
and just wait for it to be made
yes,
for you?
the inner knowing. Every single human being has a very clear inner knowing. And until they know, they don't. And we're uncomfortable with not knowing. If you were supposed to leave your job, you would wake up in the morning, or you would be standing in the office by the coffee maker, and it would be, it's time to leave.
Hmm.
And what happens, every single human being has that. We're just wired that way. But what happens until it's the moment, we hate not knowing. And we hate, and so our brain is very programmed for no. When we were little kids, our parents didn't tell us every single time we did something right, but they told us immediately when we violated something. So we have a ton of neural receptors to recognize no. So we can use it for our advantage when we talk of divine prompting or guided intuition, use your language, to know when it's a no. And when it comes with clarity, so until it's there, it's not.
Okay, so there have been several times that I have turned to Karen and said it's time to leave, and yet the fear makes me not do that. So, kind of a two-part question: will the knowing be knowing without fear, or could it be possible that I thought it was time and yet it kind of wasn't?
So I don't know what your system of beliefs is on God, divine intelligence, universe, but assuming that we can agree that we haven't self-manifested and haven't self-created, that there is great overall designer. I call God as great overall designer. However you describe that, that's what I refer to as God. The first prompting will come because that great intelligence knows how many of them it'll take for that divine moment.
Gotcha.
Do you really think that there is a possibility of all of our fears that we haven't yet faced not to be known to the creator of all that is?
For sure. No, yes, I'm with you. However, what I'm trying to do is prevent someone from waking up and saying it's time when it maybe isn't.
So Andrew Andrews, probably all of my favorite quote of all time, I don't know for which of his books, but I live by that quote. And he said, God didn't give us an opportunity to always make a right choice, but we do have an opportunity to make a choice and then make it right. That is the power of humanity. The power of humanity is making the choice right. Because what I know in a very brief energy exchange that I've had with you guys, if you did lose that job tomorrow, your daughter would not go hungry. You would do anything and everything and beyond possible to have provided for her. You would make it right. And that's just the most beautiful thing for me. It's not guesstimating and guessing. Is this the door? Is this the door? Is this the door? Who cares? Open the door.
Just go
If
through the
it's
door
not,
already.
if it's not, slam the door. Open the next one. Yeah.
I'm hogging the entire conversation. You guys say something.
No, because I mean this affects me, so I'm listening.
But I want to listen for a while.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's so scary. And I guess, how do you get past that fear?
You don't. You get through fear while fearing. Fear is the language of survival. We have different levels of who we are. So fear is always present. It is the healthiest indicator that you actually are alive and that your survival is kicking in. So fear is amazing. If you looked at David Hawkins' scale of belief, you know that if you are apathetic or if you are ashamed or if you are guilty, your desire is to get to fear. Because if you just are in constant shame, fear is the first energy that says, I'm afraid of losing my life, my livelihood. That means I actually want to be here. I actually want to be alive. And the only way to overcome fear is through love. So you actually love your fear. You don't punish it. You don't kick it to the curb because you can't,
Right.
because it's a part of you. And every time you're doing something you don't know how to do, your survival mechanisms kick in and says, you haven't done it yet. We can't guarantee you will survive. And so at that point, you have to say, thank you, fear. Thank you for helping me survive. I love you. I now want to talk to I call it the scared self. There's a scared self of us. I actually had a client who came to me years ago. She said, I can't commit. And I was going to give her a whole spiel on laws and commitment, opened my mind, and what came in was like, you're very committed. You're just committed to your scared self. So there is a sacred self inside of you. And it's fascinating when you look at scared and sacred, it's a letter C. I call it the C of commitment. So you're currently committed to your scared self. So what if we were to love the scared self and then sit quietly and say, what does my sacred self think for me? And you just recommit to the sacred self. That you love all of you, both part of you.
Karen,
Yes.
we're committed to our scared selves.
Yes, we are deeply
in a
committed.
Very big way.
But you're very committed. You're committed. So
I'm thinking maybe we should be committed.
So getting back to the doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see the door and you're too afraid to walk through, so you skip it, and then you get to the next door and you're still afraid. I mean, will the universe limit the amount of doors or opportunities? Like if he wants to quit his job, say 5 different times and doesn't do it, is that like, oh well, now this is going to happen, or like, will there be another chance? Like,
let's do this. There's
there's
always a chance. Here's a cool thing, because obviously I do energy. So October 9th is when you leave your job, if that helps at all. So there you go. You're gonna have a date. You're gonna have
Really?
a date.
No.
Yes.
Really?
October 9th. October 9th. So by October 9th, create a full basis for whatever vision you want. Right now, right here. And that's that. That's that. So from the complete practicality of things is the only way to talk to your scared self, and it will sabotage your sacred self, is to show that it's possible. Just like you talk, it's possible. We need to show that part of all of us that it's possible. For me, a very vulnerable and very emotional thing is that, so my husband is much older. I've been married for 30 years in February, but
Congratulations.
thank you, but my husband is 26 years older.
Wow.
And so when we first got married and I got my first baby and I was holding her in my arms and I was like, what if I lose my husband in a year or two or three?
Mm-hmm.
Can I even support her on my own? And I mean, it's just, and I had to sit down and talk to that terrified part of me and show her that even if I am a single mom with basic survival skills, that I'll be okay. I had to have a plan B, C versus denying and pushing and waiting. So if you sit down and you say, okay, what is our budget? What can we survive on until we can thrive again? What are ways to provide for it? If I were to lose the job tomorrow, what are 3 ways that I can provide for this basic budget? And you just literally, you say, we say we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm like, excuse me, there's a terrorist inside me. I negotiate with her all the time. I mean, she's like, you shouldn't go to Portugal. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the plane. It's a little too late. I mean, so you've got to show the cards. You've got to show the basic survival possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that sabotage is not as loud, you can tune into the thriving part of you. And so here's what I'll tell you. Whatever skill you have, whatever price you put to that skill, if you call every single person you know and tell them the situation and ask for 3 people that they know that need that skill at that price, you will create a 3 months budget to transition out of your job. Period. It's just that practical.
The challenge is that there's not a lot of people who are in need of a smart ass. And that's really what I'm really skilled at.
Then you got to be a dumbass.
I got that one pretty much handed down too. Okay, well, so interesting that she mentioned October, which is the date that I thought, right? I mentioned, and B, Portugal in the same sentence almost, right? So.
And there was a Virginia mentioned also.
And it was, yes, I don't want to say where she is, but she's, yeah. But I know where you live. I mean, not really, but yeah.
That was weird.
Edit point.
Wait, let my scared self now come down. We're good, baby. We're good.
I just like to keep people on their toes. Anyway. All right. So then going back all the way to the very beginning about neutrality, we've heard a lot of people talk about the need to, my gosh, I need a new brain because I'm having a hard time coming up with the words these days.
That you need to be positive to manifest and everything in life. Yes. You have to be at a frequency of positive vibration in order to attract what it is that you want into your life.
Yeah. I'll let you guys talk. Non-attachment, right? Not being attached to the outcome.
Yes.
Not being overly happy when you get the promotion, but also not being overly distraught when you lose the job. You have to live in that happy medium, right? So we're talking about that age-old tenet, yeah?
No, I'm not talking about staying neutral. I'm talking about the power to get yourself into neutral. And then, because you cannot go from negative to positive. So the beauty of all manifestation, really through the law of resonance, is that the universe does not reflect back to us what we want. It simply reflects back to us who we are. And the beauty of that is that it's who we are at a 51% and above. So none of us can be. So here's another big name that I'm forever grateful for. Bob Proctor was one of my mentors. And Bob and I had a really passion-fueled discussion. He was like, in order to have anything, you have to resonate at 100%. I was like, man, have you met PMS? I am very sorry. Nothing is 100%. So I'm like, by then I said, listen, I've taught statistics. I understand probability. The dominant frequency always prevails. And the good news for every person who's not perfect, which last time I heard was everyone, is that the dominant frequency is 51%. That should bring a lot of peace. But you can't quite get to that 1% without neutrality. So whatever it is you are vibrating at, whatever it is your overall state of being. And so without knowing how to be neutral, most of us are vibrating in negativity, lack, and fear most of the time. So as I've mentioned, neutrality is a mandatory first safe place to come to. Because if you're terrified of something, there is no magic shift that's going to be like, I'm so happy and grateful now that. That's a beautiful affirmation. I believe in it and I live it. But to get there, okay, so I'll give you a really cool spoiler. They will have heard it here first.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay.
So a couple of days ago, had a big release. One of our journals came out, which is Worthy Me on restoring human worth. I'm going to be giving a TEDx talk in Florence on 3 universal laws of worth.
Wow.
Because I truly believe my current calling is restoring humanity and humanity through the sense of worth. I'm very passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've polished the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the talk. And so this is an exercise for anybody who will enjoy it so thoroughly. And it will summarize, I think, our discussion. So if you've set a goal and you reach the goal, whether it is getting a job, getting a car, getting out of bed, I would have to ask the audience, raise your right hand. And everybody raises right hand because everybody's done something, achieved a goal. And it's like, this is your right hand. You're all right. Like pat yourself on the back and said, I am all right. It's your right hand. I'm all right. I'm all right. I said it. I did it. I manifested. I'm at a frequency of bliss. Okay, good. But then ask a question. Now, if you have set a goal and you've done everything you possibly knew how to do, and you get nothing, nada, zilch, raise your left hand. And once again, it's everybody in the audience because we've all been there, right? And that's your left hand. That's, I have nothing left. I have nothing left in me. I have nothing left to be able to pursue it. I have no hope left, or whatever it is. Positively, I have nothing left to prove. And so the beginning of worth is, I know I'm all right, even if I have nothing left. It's that simple. The beginning of human worth is, I will be all right, even if I have nothing left. And that is neutrality. I'm all right, with nothing left. I don't fear the lack. I'm not attracted to the addiction of having and the presence. I'm all right with nothing left. Because who I am is more than enough to create anything and everything moving forward. And so when you arrive at that sacred point of knowing, you start tapping into your infinite worth. And then indeed, one belief after the next, you understand you are worthy of having a loving relationship and how you create that, and so forth and so on.
You have moved me.
Wow.
Victoria. That is incredibly moving. And it's such a simple way to look at it, but so absolutely divine and earth shaking at the same time. Because that is true. My biggest question mark, and probably my biggest challenge, is getting there. So what would you recommend for someone like me who's having a really difficult time getting to neutral because I'm still not okay with nothing left? How do I get to that point?
So I teach what's called quantum alignment. It sounds so big, but it is so practical. And you've probably heard everybody said the theme for the year or word for the year, and then by the end of December they try to remember what the word was. And so, but if you were to actually follow it, I would say that every single miracle I got to witness in my life came as a result of this. So in the beginning of the year, for over 2 decades, I pray, I meditate, and I say, what is my theme for the year? And then of every first of the months, I ask, what is the theme for the month that deepens the theme for the year or expands the theme of the year? Whatever sounds better. There's no right or wrong. Just How do I live the theme of the year? And I receive my theme of the month. And then every single morning, I actually will not get out of bed without an answer to what I've mentioned earlier. What is my one action to take, decision to make, or question to ask to live and thrive? That one you want to use to live and thrive through my theme of the month. And so that is to me the simplest complete recipe for surrender because that's my one commitment for the day. That is my one non negotiable. And then it very rarely makes sense. And then you look back and you're just blown away by the tapestry that is left behind. Because when you describe fear, well, it's not present here now. The fear comes of what if and what will be. But what if you completely dismiss the conversation of the job or no job or what will be, completely dismissed it and said, my only focus is my year, my months, my one focus for today. And I trust that in the surrender, things that will come through me will be much more powerful than anything I could envision by me. And that's been the not so secret, but very sacred practice that I have lived through and stand by.
So little bites.
Daily commitment.
That's the way.
Daily commitment. That is daily commitment to sacred. Because none of us are guaranteed that tomorrow we waste so much energy on foreshadowing that which is not warranted or on draining that which we cannot change in the past. But when you completely surrender to this divine knowing, I'll give you there are a lot of emotional examples. The movie that I've mentioned will actually have a little glimpse of my little nephew being born with 5 heart conditions and a whole year of healing leading up to it and a miracle of that, which is really golden. But for the purpose of the show, I have a billionaire client. He knows who he is. I have his full permission, but I will not be mentioning a name. So, and I insist that, my quantum freedom family, that my clients, that if they want for this unfolding, that is the model of behavior. So I get a text from him. Well, swear word. This is swear word not working. I'm like, okay, having a bad day today. We're having a bad day. I say, what's going on? Well, I ask the question, and I always say go with the first prompting, however irrational it is, because in the beginning, the clear channels of receiving are not always, just go with, he goes, it was go buy an apple. It's like, do you know what that means to me? I'm like, no, tell me, no, tell me. He goes, well, I haven't shopped for myself in years. I don't know where the grocery store is. I'm like, yeah, that's a real problem.
Step one.
So he gets to make a very long story short, he gets to the store like a complete, and I say it with great love if you're listening, idiot. He buys an apple, buys one apple. He stands in line with his one apple. That's dedication, right? That's dedication. He stands in line with one apple. He checks out with one apple. Meanwhile, just lest we forget, I'm getting texts. I mean, step by step, you're at it. Okay. As he is there, he's checking out. There is a very, very elderly lady with a very heavy bag. She's trying to get out of the car, and he's really an incredibly decent human being. He's pissed at the moment, but he's a very decent human being who's very pissed in the moment. So he says, "I will help you to the car." And she says, "No, it's okay. I took Uber here because my son is flying in, and he told me not to do it, but I wanted to prepare his favorite meal. I haven't seen him in a long time. And so he's going to pick me up straight from the airport." And he says, "So you're going to stand here by yourself?" She says, "Yeah, but he's here soon." He goes, "You know what? I'm going to stay here by you." We're talking ADHD on steroids. So he's going to stand by her. So he's standing by her. And I don't know how long it took. I don't remember that. But the gentleman who is the son comes in and he loads the car and he says, "That just touches me deeply." And he hands him a card and he said, "Listen, this is my private number. If you ever need anything," and ever, I mean it, because this is the greatest thing you could have done for me. So my client looks at the card and the gentleman is the owner of the company with the raw materials that my client has been trying to court to get an appointment with for over 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
So he texted you the expletive text before he bought the apple?
All the way through it, all the way through it. I got to witness the full journey. I got to witness, which I think is precious for both of us. And so,
Yeah.
while there will be a lot of them, I would say 90% of these little promptings that you'll never know why.
Mm-hmm.
There will be moments like this that will bring the whole universe into such complete alignment. And then, and eventually you no longer have to ask the question because as you wake up, the knowing is already there.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a training platform to be open to the knowing and to live from the place of surrender.
That's just beautiful. That is, that's amazing.
You have no idea how close to the bone you have hit with your entire interview so far. I need to talk about the moon. Your teachings are on the moon. How? What?
Okay, you know what? Look at this. Look at the alignment. High five, angels. High five. Okay. So, following this very system, I wake up, I find myself at Secret Knock, which is a really cool hangout. Greg Reed runs the Secret Knock. This is 3 years ago. And I wake up in the morning, and the theme for the month was to receive. So I ponder, what am I to receive today? And it comes in, receive an offer. I'm like, oh, well, I'm married. I think my first thought is my mind goes to the gutter. Like,
oh, you are definitely our people then.
I cannot follow this prompting. Come on now. Wow. Okay. So, talking to the terrorists here, going like, come on, settle down, girl, settle down. We're going in. And so I get in, and Greg gets on up on the stage, and he says, "Hey, blah blah blah," opening the season. He says, "At the end of this, I'm going to have an offer for you." So right after his speech, I come up to him and I'm like, "I'm here to receive your offer." He's like, where's my garlic kind of thing. I warned this woman off, but Greg is a very close friend now and a tennis partner whenever I'm in California. So there was a happy ending to that very uncomfortable situation. Like I tell my people, when you know he's a soulmate, please don't come and tell him. Don't hit him with that.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So anyway, so the offer was to become a part of a personal development mastermind for a whole year. A huge price tag. $35K. I don't have $35K laying around. I'm like, honey, would you still be married to me if I just took a little whatever.
Did you say no?
He said yes. 30 years. He says yes to everything anymore. I mean, So long story short, I become a part of this incredible personal development project that we get to interview in a very Napoleon Hill mode that he did rich people. We did the giants of personal development and just being in the energy of people and meeting people. And it was an incredible project. And that project, the book was published. And as a result of being in that group, Greg said, listen, I am putting together a group of people. This one is not a paid project. This is a legacy piece. And it's called Lunar Legacy. I'm putting together an actual authentic book that talks about humanity's legacy. Because see, my biggest thing is live your life so fully, serving so joyfully that you don't give a damn about legacy. Mm-hmm. And then you leave behind you a trail of care that is seen in other people. Legacy is not what I did. Legacy is a kid who now is eating because of me. It's not, and so just had these discussions. And so Lunar Legacy Project then became this little pyramid that was imprinted on the shuttle that was sent by the first commercial successful flight to the moon of different people's DNAs, and with the purpose of that, if there were alien life or if there were humanity that has become stellar, what is the legacy we leave as humanity? And so that became a part of Lunar Legacy Project. And March 3rd, 25, it landed on the moon. It's really, really cool.
That is cool.
Oh my gosh.
That is very cool.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
That's crazy. And what a claim to fame. Yeah, my stuff's up on the moon.
Yeah, you can retire than that.
What have you done? Yeah, you might be expletive-laden billionaire, but my stuff's on the moon. What about yours, buddy?
Yeah, but try and be a Saturn. Try and be a Saturn in this situation. Just
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
Well, on top of everything else, you've developed apps. You've done all kinds of things. If someone wanted to reach out, work with you, get involved with you, download your apps, what's the best way for someone to get more Victoria?
I think the very best first step is actually our app. Our app is only $19 a year, but it is a passion project that we continually add to and develop. And it's Empower-Me app, and you can get the app at empowerme.love. So, because of course. So,
Yes.
empowerme.love is an amazing place to start for somebody who's on the budget. And I don't know of anyone who isn't, right?
I
Right,
know,
right.
So, and what the app does, the app is an access to a lot of other things, but what the app does, well, one of the things that we haven't mentioned that the app does beautifully, what I've discovered is that there are 99 aspects of grief that people do not talk about or are unaware that it has. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's just finish with that. And if you don't release the grief, you cannot manifest because your lungs are the center for joy and for grief. And if your lungs are heavy with grief, that's that neutral, right? That's the app actually demonstrates that beautifully. You can't go into the bliss because it's a bliss that is heavy and forced. And so one of this, the app has many subsections that are incredible, but they're built to be intuitive. So we're going to click on My Grief. We're going to shake the phone. It's my favorite feature. Don't ask me how much it cost, please.
Wasn't 35K, was it?
Let me tap it out. Tapping is also in the app.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is incredible. So, because of course we tuned into here. So first step in grief is validate. I refuse to believe that this happened. So one of the parts of that we can be on a frequency of, we keep saying, I can't believe it happened. I can't believe it happened. And a lot of people try to understand why shit happens. And that keeps you stuck. I say, if you don't understand why bad things happen, congratulations. That frequency is below you. So you have to let it go. Understand English language, my favorite. Understand is stand under. Whatever you understand, you put yourself under. Don't try to understand Putin or Hitler. Do not try to understand things that are below where you want to be standing under. Understand higher frequencies. That's the tip that comes through the app. And so very often, I refuse to believe that this happened is I fail to understand it. And then we're stuck, and we can't move forward. Now visualization is the second thing. With your eyes closed, imagine a chronological timeline as if a tape with tears in different places. Imagine as if a radiant healing light is being poured into those places, completing and making the timeline whole. As it becomes whole, it starts moving towards the beautiful radiant light of infinite love. Allow yourself to follow it into this feeling of comforting peace. And then the third part is always going to be affirmation, which is energetically charged. Affirm with your hand on your heart. It is safe to accept. I'm now accepting hope. I'm hopeful. I'm me. And so there you have it. That's probably the simplest way of an example of going from negative to neutrality of healing to affirming the positive.
Wow. You are like a soundbite machine. I just wind you up and let you go.
Yeah, I don't even need to talk. I just want to sit and listen.
I will copyright that.
You are free to do so because that was amazing.
And I will be buying that app.
Yes, I think we will be going on that app for sure. I could talk to you for days.
Yeah.
For days.
I don't want to talk. I just want to listen.
Yeah,
I just want to listen to you for days.
Right. Because we haven't even talked about what love stands for. Right. We need to come back because there's an
anytime. You guys are
good.
so incredible. Anytime. Maybe that's what becomes one of your pet projects that creates millions of dollars. We do a little talk show. We do a little three-way talk show. You have the mastery of questions, and Karen has the mastery of insight, support, and listening like none other. And now we know I'm a talking machine. So.
Perfect.
Soundbite machine is very different because there's a lot of people
Don't
who
limit her. Don't limit her to sound bites.
a lot of people can talk, but people don't. Sometimes a lot of people talk and say nothing.
That's true.
You
That's
talk
very
and
true.
you give
Oh
and
my
you say
gosh.
things. So
We've had like 10 interviews worth of information in this hour, and it's just been amazing.
it has been amazing.
Great.
So we do want to have you back. So let's maybe let's look into that possibility of putting that together because that sounds really interesting to me. So anyway, Victoria, thank you so much for coming on the show and just literally just making us feel like.
Oh, just full of love. I'm feeling like this energy.
Yeah, we'll go with that because
Nice.
mine was going to be way worse than that. So,
Yes.
yeah.
They ain't a terrorist. Shut up. Shut up.
Thanks so much for. We're gonna add a direct link to our show notes to that app. So if you didn't have a pen when she mentioned it, don't worry. Just go to skepticmetaphysician.com. Go to her episode page. You'll see the link directly in there, so it's easy for you to access. This thing is really flipping cool. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and I am very excited for what the future holds for us.
Thank you so much. October 9th.
What a way to close.